we can encourage one person to battle their addiction and think about getting sober, this will all be worth it. Welcome to the Sober Fix podcast channel. Another episode. We got Youssef all the way from New York. Cocaine addiction eventually leads to meth. IV drug user starts to lose his mind up for multiple weeks at a time. Then he gets sober and he talks all about that transformation. I loved hearing about it. I think you guys will as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? We are back. Another episode of the Sober Fix podcast. We are sober. We're finding a way to live the good life, man, and just not be in pain anymore, not be in suffering. And it's all good. It's all good. And there's plenty of us around. There's a lot of people that have, if you're out there struggling and you think, oh, I'm never going to be able to get sober. I felt that way too. And it is different today. I promise you, sobriety will be better than you think it's going to be. It's going to be way better than the misery that comes a lot of times at the end of addiction. But we've got another guest on today. We've got Youssef. What is going on, Youssef? How you doing today?
What's going on, Drew? Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you on here. And I want to kind of start off in the beginning. Where do you live now, and where did you grow up?
I'm in Brooklyn. I've been in Brooklyn, New York my whole life. You know, I was actually born in Lebanon. Believe it or not, I wasn't even born in a hospital. I was born in a house. You know, like the neighbor, the lady upstairs, like she was a nurse or whatever, and she gave birth to me. But yeah, I came here. I was like a few months old, actually. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. You know, I grew up here. You know, I had a good upbringing. I wasn't like I had a really good upbringing. I wasn't like abused or anything like that, you know. But I always like struggled with school. You know what I mean? Like I would get like promotions down on my report card every year from like kindergarten to I guess 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you said, did you have would you kind of characterize your childhood as it was a good childhood overall?
Yeah, absolutely, Drew. You know, like I said, I was not abused or anything. You know, I had a good relationship with my family. You know, it's just I don't know. I never really liked school, man. You know what I mean? It's not that I was stupid or anything. It's just I was physically there, not mentally. You know what I mean? And I think if I would have saw like a psychiatrist early on in life, things would have been a lot different because Drew, I didn't start seeing a psych till probably in my early 30s. You know, like later on in life. You know what I mean? So but I'm not blaming my parents, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and kind of walk us through how'd you get started on was it drinking mainly for you or drugs? What was your thing?
Well, actually, I was like, I guess, around 18, 19, I started with the marijuana, Drew. You know what I mean? And I was going to a community college, in my area. I was actually doing great. I was getting good grades. You know what I mean? I think I completed a year and stuff. The weed, Drew. Once I started with the weed, brother, that's when my life started to shift. You know, in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? I stopped going to classes, hanging out with the wrong people. You know, I eventually I ended up dropping out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually really similar to mine because I started smoking and getting high kind of later on as well. I was 17, 18, which
Yeah.
is for some people is kind of later because I hear a lot of people in like the rooms of recovery sometimes they got started at like, 10, 11 years old. And I was the same way. I was in community college and I was doing all right, but I started smoking and for me, I just overdid it really fast, really fast. It got to the point where I was smoking like all day, every day. And I've talked about this before, but I was going to the dispensaries and the weed clinics and, and buying like brownies and eating those all day. And was it like that for you? Were you someone that noticed that you were smoking like a lot right off the bat?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Drew. It wasn't so much like that. It was more of like a peer pressure kind of deal. You know, I wanted to fit in, something like that. But I never like I did weed, Drew, but I never. It's like because it was available. I never really like weed for me was never a problem. You know what I mean? It was never a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I
So
mean? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We,
and I'm glad you bring that up too because like I've had people ask me they're like, "Hey, I got off hard drugs and I smoke weed now. Is that a problem?" And I'm like, Dude, I don't I for me, it was just me, but I recognize that there's a lot of people that smoked weed fine and then they got into, like, harder stuff. Why don't you walk us through you're 18 years old, you're in the community college, you're starting to smoke the weed. When does it escalate to other drugs?
Well, here we go, Drew. So basically, let's fast forward a few years. I would say 21, 22, around that age. I was hanging out with somebody that I knew for a very long time, and yeah, we were driving around, and he just pulls up with a car unexpectedly. He pulls out a baggie, and there was like a white substance inside. He just takes the next thing I know, he pulls out a key and he fills it up and he puts it to his nose. And I was like, oh shit! I'm like, can I try that? He filled up the key and it passed me the key. I did that bump, Drew. I have arrived. This is it. This is the feeling. It was that Drew, the whatever, that few minutes of euphoria, whatever, that was the best feeling I have ever experienced in my fucking life. You know what I mean? That was my road to hell, dude. That's when it started for me. You know what I mean? And then, like, you know what's crazy? I, like, as a kid or whatever, I was like I kind of like swore I would never do hard drugs. I would never do that. You know, as a kid, you tell a kid don't touch the stove, he's gonna fucking touch it. But yeah, man, that's where my road to hell started, too. And in the beginning, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. You know what I mean? And I would do it like maybe once a month. Then it became every 2 weeks. Then every week. Then it became like a daily thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And it got worse and worse and worse over the years, man. Like, yeah, it got drew to a point where, like, I would go out and a group of us, friends, guys and girls, and they'd be like, "Hey, is your friend all right? Are you okay, mate, bro?" My jaw would be flying, Drew. Like, it got to a point, Drew, where I would, believe it or not, people. When I tell this, people don't believe me. I would do the whole 51 bump. I kid you not, Drew. That's how bad it got.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Like, looking back in hindsight, Drew, you're asking for a heart attack. But back then, I was chilling. You know what I mean, bro? I took cocaine to a level no human should ever take it, man. You know what I'm saying? I had perfect credit. Fucking, I sabotaged my credit, bro. I was going like, I had these Amex Blue, Discover everything, bro. I was going taking out cash advances from the card, in and out, from there.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
bro, my life revolved around hotels, cocaine, hookers, and slash porn. You know what I mean? That was my life for like just what that bump through led me to like a 10, if not, I would say a 10 or 12 year run, man. I'll be honest, that was a long fucking run, a spree, whatever you want to call it, man. You know what I'm saying? I burnt everything to the ground. I ruined my relationships, ruined everything, and I don't know if for some reason I still managed to, like, I guess if you want to see work, I still work, but I was like I worked just to get high. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's it. It's funny that you say that because I could relate to that so much. People used to ask me, "Well, how were you working when you were doing?" For me, it was heroin and opiates and cocaine, everything. And they'd say, "How were you working at periods of your life?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I needed to in order to get the amount of drugs that I wanted to get. I had to be working." But so I can totally relate to that. I want to ask you though. So you start off, you try, your friend pulls it out, you try the bag. How quickly did it start to go bad? Like, because you mentioned trying it and then doing it like every 2 weeks, and like, how long did it
Um,
take before you're doing it every day?
well, I would say like a few months. A few months. You know what I mean? But as the years went on, it got worse and worse and worse, and it got so bad due to the point where, like, I would work, and say for example I get off like 5, 6, 7 p.m. Knowing I had to be up in the morning, I was still in coke. I was still in coke, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost my fucking mind, man. I remember one time too. I left after hours. Like, it was like 7, 8 in the morning. I went straight to work. My nose was running. I'm sweating. I look like the biggest junkie in the world. And for some reason, the guy didn't send me home. I don't understand how. I guess he was just desperate for workers that day. But come on, man. Anybody else would have been like, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? I look like a real, true. I look like a real junk box, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. I told my family. I was very selfish, dude. Very, very selfish, man. That's what drugs do to you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and did your family, did they and friends, did they know what was going on for a while, or how did they kind of find out?
Oh my god! In the beginning, I mean, I tried to hide it in the beginning, but I don't think I hid it that long because, bro, when you're on coke, you know you don't look right. Your jaw's flying. You know what I'm saying? You look not normal. And yeah, man, they knew it. They're not stupid. They knew right off the bat what was going on. You know, and I tried to like deny it. You know, oh no, I'm not. You know, but come on, man. You know, it's like I was only lying to myself, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Coke was a rough one too because I remember when I first tried it, it was kind of like you where the euphoria was insane. It was something that I had never in my life experienced.
Yeah.
But the thing that was so hard about it is like it just didn't last that long
Bro,
and
that's exactly what I said to you. Oh my god, bro, I guess like the last couple times that I remember doing coke, bro, it's like I would do the whole bag, bro, and then like it's like for me personally, it was like 48 seconds, if not a little more, and that's it. Then the calm down, you feel shitty. You know what I mean? Bro, it's like looking back in hindsight, man. Thank God, I could have caught a heart attack. My heart could have stopped, bro. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck does the whole bag in one line? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I definitely fucking, I lost my mind, bro. You know what I mean? The story gets worse and worse. Trust me, brother. It's gonna get worse. Trust
it gets worse.
me. It
It's
gets
like mine, just continues to get worse. I
man.
want to
That's
ask you I want to
go
ask you
ahead.
real quick why don't you let everyone know who's listening for anyone that hasn't like done coke before? Why don't you let them know how shitty it is to come down on that stuff? What were your come downs like?
Guys, take it from somebody who's been through that road and how do not even don't even think about doing it. That it's just like it's short lived. It's not even worth ruining your life, man. You're gonna get addicted instantly. The first fucking bump, don't even do it, man. Trust me, don't even do it. You know, but hey, you know, people are gonna experience. They're gonna dabble. You know, I could only. You know, I can lead them in the right direction, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't condone anybody for that cocaine, man. It's horrible. And I'm sorry. What was the last question, Drew? I'm sorry.
Oh no, you pretty much answered. I was just asking about like the come down, how bad the
Oh
come
my
downs were.
God, Drew, was it brutal, bro? And the fact that whenever I like ran out of coke, the fact that I couldn't get any more out of money, whatever, it was like the worst feeling in the world. You know, I just wanted to die, man. You know what I'm saying? Your nose is, Drew. It got to a point where like when I would come home, my nose is like I would say literally swollen, brother. You know, I would have like a sheet under my pillow. Oh my god, bro! Like I don't even know how my family like I put them through hell, and they seriously were running out of patience with me. You know what I mean? If I didn't, well, I'll tell you just a bit on the story, but yeah, man, it's really bad, man. You know what I mean? It's not a joke.
Yeah, and so you're using it every day. What kind of stuff you mentioned that it started to get worse. What kind of stuff was happening to you as it was getting worse?
Well, Drew, I couldn't, I couldn't hold down a job. You know what I mean? I ruined every relationship with my family. You know, my finances were gone. I looked like a junkie. You know, I was very skinny, and everything burned to the ground, man. You know, but this was after years, like with the credit and everything. And yeah, man, I don't know why I did that, man. I'm fucking stupid, man. Straight up. You know what I mean? Like normal people, that's not rational thinking. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, it is what it is, you know. Like, yeah.
I was the same way with I remember I would get like a credit card and it was so bad for me because I would just cash advance and I'd get like a certain amount of cash and I would just owe so much and each time I would tell myself, "Oh, I'm gonna pay this back," you know, but I never I just never paid it back. Can you relate to that?
Oh my God, I thought I was the only one doing the cash advance thing. Yeah, man, bro. Like at one point, Drew, I was traumatized by ATMs, man. You know, I still need to stop. I was traumatized. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, bro. Like it's like you're in the hotel room, cracked out of your life. You really don't want to go outside, but you have to take out the money so you could see the guy. You know what I mean? It's like the vicious cycle, brother. You know, and it's just like it's out of control, man. You know, and I'm just happy that I didn't die, man. You know, because I should have died. Straight up, I should have fucking died.
Yeah, do you think you had any close calls to where you probably did too much?
There's so many close calls. But Drew, when it was happening, I wouldn't like looking back in hindsight, I'd say it was a close call. But when it was happening, I would just say, oh, it is what it is. You know, like when you're high, you don't look at it from that perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true. It's kinda like that for me too when I look back and I'm like, "Ooh, I can't believe I did that much or I mixed all those things." But, I wanna kinda ask you, how did it affect your relationships?
Oh my God! Like first of all, they like I lost any trust with my family, any trust. They would lock doors. You know what I mean? Like they would worry about things go missing. I mean, listen, I'm honest. I never stole anything, Drew. But like my parents, they're old fashioned Arabs. They had that old school mentality. You know what I mean? Like I never took anything, but that's just they would lock doors, and then when they would do that, Drew, it would crush me. It would crush me. It broke my heart. You know what I mean? Like, hey, my son's a fucking junkie. Let me lock the door. When they leave. And it made me, it hurt me, brother. It really did hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, why did I let it get to this point? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, and were your friends like did they ever sit you down and try and really like have talks with you, or were some of them using with you, or what was that like?
Well, yeah, some of them were using with me, and like, it's funny you said that because like while it progressed, like whenever people would be like, "Hey, Yusuf, when are you gonna get help?" I would call it my going away party, like as an excuse for me to continue the bending. You know what I mean? But looking back through, it's like, yeah, you're going away, all right. You're going away, all right. You're going away in a fucking body bag. You know what I mean? Like I would just keep it, bro. Like my friends would go home, we would do Molly, whatever, the club. They go home. Me, I go home with. You know what I mean? Like I keep the party going. You know what I mean? That's how I am. I have that personality. And yeah, man, it just I lost my mind, bro. But yeah, man, it's
Yeah, I was the same way. I had friends that some of them would even use hard drugs with me, and but there was a difference that I looking back, it was it's so obvious now as I look back, but they were just different than me. Like they would use some of the same drugs, but just like you said, maybe they'd go out to the club or they'd go to some concert or something and they would try like Molly, right? And
right,
I'd
right.
go out and I'd get some as well. So we'd all take Molly. Well, at the end of the night, they're like, that was fun. I'm good. I'm going to crash. I'm going to relax, recharge. Me, it woke something up. It woke I used to call it, like, waking up the beast or whatever, where I have, like,
Exactly, bro.
whatever drug I would have would just get me going. Was it like that for you as well?
Absolutely, man. It's like that's when I knew too. Like I wasn't normal. I was not like these people. These people have their lives in order. I don't. You know what I mean? Like that's, And I'm not. It wasn't always. There was. I'm not. It wasn't always misery. There were a few. Like you mentioned the Molly. Those were good times in the clubs. Taking ecstasy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's just like the party's over for me, man. I cannot like. I'm starting to slowly accept the fact that I cannot drink or put a substance in my body ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and was that kind of, I know a lot of people struggle with that. Was that hard for you to accept? I know everyone's kinda different. Some people are like,
Honestly, Drew, before, like the thought of sobriety would just bug me out, But now, like that I have 110 days by the grace of God, I'm still. It's. They told me it gets easier. It is getting easier. It is getting easier, and I feel it. But it's like I'm definitely not out of the woods. I have a lot of work to do. You know what I mean. I'm newly sober. You know what I mean. And I've had longer since sobriety, Drew. But this time, what I did different, Drew, was I stayed and I put in the work. You know what I mean. I'm working a program. You know what I mean? As opposed to before, where sitting in a meeting in the back like this, that's not recovery, brother. That's just, you're just fooling yourself. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I don't know if you want to fast forward to the where the story really gets dramatic, or you got a few questions for me, brother.
"Oh, yeah, go ahead. Bring us over there."
All right, man. All right, so let's fast forward till I guess 5 years ago. 5 years ago, yeah, man. I was hanging out with somebody, and he pulls out this glass pipe, and honestly, Drew, like I knew, like my conscience was always there. You know what I mean? I'm like, Youssef, this is probably a bad idea, but I'm like, let me get past it to me, and he handed it to me, brother. And when I lit it up and I let out that smoke, Drew, oh my God. Forget about the cold. This is like this was it. This was fun. This was the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? I never touch cold again. You know what I mean? That methamphetamine was that's it. It was a wrap. You know what I mean? From that one decision. Um, and I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, it was in the beginning when I went down the ice road to hell. It was everything was fun. It was exciting. Everything was new for a brief period, and then it turned into a very dark and scary place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I hear that a lot where and it's kind of like what we talked about earlier where the Coke would feel really good, but the problem was it would wear off so fast, and I think a lot of people end up, kind of switching over to meth, and they're like, "What? I could I could stay good all night off of doing a bunch right now," like, And that's why people switch over, man. It just happens. But I want to ask you, was that a scary thing for you, like the whole concept of doing meth? Because I always kind of looked at it like, oh, I don't want to touch that stuff. Was it like that for you, or did you
I
switch over easily?
I mean, honestly, Drew, at the time, like when he pulled it out, I knew, like, it's not, I knew what it was, but it's like my mind was not there. You know what I mean? My mind wasn't there. Like I knew this is not good. A fucking glass pipe with a lighter, that's not good. But my instinct just told me to do it, and I did it, man. And that was like the worst decision I ever made in my fucking life, too. And obviously I regret it. But yeah, it's just like the coke high is here, and the meth high is all the way up. You cannot compare that to meth to coke. You know what I mean? It's no contest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what did your life start to look like once you switched over to the meth? Once it
Well,
started going bad?
honestly, in the beginning, Drew, everything I was chilling in the beginning. Like I just found this, like, I guess if you want to say, new way of life. In the beginning, Drew, it was not. It wasn't. It was everything was fun, new, and exciting. You know what I mean? I would smoke it out of a bong and stuff. I'm sure you tried it out of a bong. You know what I mean, bro? That was the best. That was the best. The best high I ever experienced in my life. You know what I mean? But it was like I had to say, like, I don't know, maybe like a few years till it really got bad. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't get bad till a while, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And were you someone that, because I know for me, like I would stay up for long periods at a time. Would you do that as well, or would you get some sleep?
Oh my God, Drew. Like I tell this people all the time. Like towards the end of my spree run, whatever I call it, I stayed up for 21 days, bro. I kid you not. 21 fucking days. People are like, oh my God, that's BS. You keep lying. Come on, brother. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. I stayed up for 21 fucking days. When you have a fucking quarter ounce of crystal meth, you ain't sleeping, brother. You ain't eating, you ain't sleeping, and you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, brother. It's really, you know.
Oh, I believe it. I definitely believe it. I haven't stayed up for 21 days, but somewhere kind of close, 2.5 weeks maybe. And that when I stayed up for that long, that I basically lost my mind. I had like meth induced psychosis. I was hearing stuff. I thought that everyone was an undercover cop. I thought that people were out to get me. People were trying to kill me. I'd be walking around and I would like see someone across the street and I'd be hearing their thoughts, which was
My bad, Drew. I
y-
just had to let the cat. I had to let the cat out. I'm sorry. My bad.
oh no,
My
you're
bad.
good.
Yeah, hopefully
But
that.
I was just losing my mind when I stayed up that long, but, did you end up getting the psychosis at all? Or were you
Oh,
hearing stuff?
bro, you want to talk about shadow people? Oh my fucking God, bro. Yo, Drew, like, honestly, like, the more a person, like, I never knew how important sleep was till I did the shrug, man. You know what I'm saying? And as much as there's a difference between sleeping and just laying in bed with your eyes closed, I got to a point, Drew. It was like really, really bad, man. Like after, like, at that point, if you tell me to tie your shoes or go to the store and give me a Sprite, I'll be like, you know what I mean? Like it's the longer you stay up, the dumber you are, bro. And one time, I remember I was going to, like, I had been up for a long time, and I wanted to go pick up like a fucking junkie that I was. And the only thing that stopped me, Drew, was they were doing the MTA, the train here. We call it the MTA. They were doing track maintenance, whatever. So what the lady was telling me, she was telling me a way to get there, but it was like a more complex way. You take this bus, this and that, and I could not. My brain started to hurt when she was talking. I was like, oh my God, that's the only reason I need to pick up. You know what I mean? Because to a normal person, they would have, okay, I understand. But to me, you know what I mean? It was crazy, man. I was crazy, man. And the story gets worse, man. I fucking OD, brother. I fucking OD, man. I gotta tell you the story, but
Yeah, let's hear it. Tell us
um,
about that.
this was in August this year, man. I was obviously I was doing it for a couple of days, and obviously I'm not in the right mind frame, and I was with somebody, and let's just say it was a different route of administration. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I remember, like, he did it for me, and obviously I fucking slammed it. I'm gonna say it, I just fucking slammed it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so he did it for me, and I remember, Drew. I think I blacked out for like a minute or something. No, no, not a minute. Like, I don't know. I blacked out for like a short amount of time, And then remember, bro, Drew, I don't know if this was a seizure or a convulsion or I was screaming at the top of my fucking lungs, bro, and I was in a state of like, I'm like, this is it. I'm going to the other side. This is what death is. And oh my God, Drew, like by the grace of God, I came back to consciousness, bro. You know what I mean? That was fucking scary, bro. You know what I mean? I've never in my life. That's something no human should be. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It was scary, Drew. It was fucking scary, bro. You know what I mean? And yeah, I
Yeah.
just, you know, ever since then, you know, I haven't done it, man. You know, like you get to a point where you're the miserable existence is unbearable, man. You know, and I just picked up the phone and I called the first place that came up on Google, and by the grace of God, here I am, 110 days later, clean.
Wow. And what was the place that you called? Was it like a rehab or?
Yeah, it's actually shout out to C Counseling. If you guys watching this, I love you guys so much. It's actually in my neighborhood, you know. It's an outpatient program, you know. And before I went there, Drew, I was a little skeptical. You know, it's a disease. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. It's like, come on, you've been this. It's not your first rodeo. You're not. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But you know, it did work. You know, thank God. And you know, they say, oh, you can't heal in the same environment that got you sick. That's BS. That's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? That's just if you really want to get clean, Drew, you can do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you are.
That's funny. I'm glad that you say that because for so long when I was getting high, I was like moving around to different places and I'm like, "Ooh, this place is going to get me sober. Or I just need to get out of here and go over here, right?" And I was never able to do it. And then when I was finally ready and I finally started to do something about my addiction, I got sober in the same city that I was getting high in. So it's just kind of funny that I was always trying to escape to these places, but it's exactly right what you said. When you're finally ready, when you're ready to just say, "Hey, look, enough's enough. I need to do something about this." Tell me about the outpatient. What was that like? All of a sudden, starting to treat your addiction.
Well, Drew, I'm sorry. I was gonna mention all my previous attempts at sobriety recovery, and I was like, if you want to call me a chronic relapse or whatever, all those times, Drew, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. It was just to get my family off my back. I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? I had more reservations than you could think of. And one of the videos you said, oh, where you saved the dealer's number just in case. That was me. That was fucking me,
Yeah.
dude. I swear to God, man. And you know, like I went to South Carolina like was it 3 years ago at this place called Oaks Recovery. Um, I got clean. I got clean for like 4 or 5 months. I was in a sober house and things were going well. And I just decided to come back to New York. And I literally went to a meeting the second I landed. And a week later, I picked up. I don't know, Drew. I just picked up. You know, it's mind boggling. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's weird, man. You know, my intention was to, you know, my parents obviously assumed or fucking thought they thought he came back to New York, but bro, I was in South Carolina. That's where it originates from. You know, that's where it comes from, the South. But yeah, man, I came a week later. I was high, bro, and off to the races again. It's the vicious cycle, brother. You know. But this time, Drew, I got to a point, brother. I couldn't do it anymore. You know, my parents didn't force me to get clean this time. I did it all on my own will, brother. You know what I mean? It was the best decision I ever made, man. Straight up.
Yeah, and how did you kind of you know, coming to that decision on yourself, how did you kind of get there? Was it just years of kind of the same cycle? Was it the pain? Was it the what do you think really was the thing that made you just want to do this on your own this time?
Yeah. Honestly, Drew, I got to a point where I was literally sitting in this exact room, and I was just like, I'm like, what the like this is what my life became. This is what my life has become, and I guess yeah, like I said earlier, the miserable existence was getting unbearable, man. You know what I mean? And when I reached out for help, I was not even high. I was clean, actually. You know what I mean? I had done it like a week earlier or whatever, but yeah, man, it's you get to a point, Drew, where enough's enough. I surrender. Like this is gonna go one of two ways. Either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna fucking die. That is it. You know what I mean? And that day, Drew. I really dodged a bullet, man. You know, and I always, that's that. I look back on that, you know, and it's you know I could have died straight up, and thank God I didn't. But you know that should be my reason to never ever think about it. You know, I don't want it. I'm not looking for it. I don't even want to do it anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? I actually quit the. I could have picked a better order, Drew. I put down the poison that almost took my life. I put down the cigarettes and I put down the weed, man. I was doing the Cali sober thing, you know, the marijuana maintenance program. That shit didn't work, bro. It's like you're substituting addictions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. What was that like? So you got off
Well, yeah,
the
yeah.
meth
I
and
put I put down the hard drugs too, and like the Cali sober thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like like I would like even the weed too. Like me, everything I would do in excess. You know what I mean? Like I would smoke weed to the I would put like 2 grams in a Dutch, bro. I would smoke to the point where my brain would hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're substituting addictions, brother. And yeah, like the fact that it's legal, bro. There's a dispensary on every corner where I live. You know what I mean? I pass by it. I don't think about it. I don't want to go in there. It's like it's a very elusive drug. It makes the intolerable tolerable. It makes you content with being average, and I don't settle. It's like why would you settle for mediocrity? You know what I mean, bro?
yeah, I was kind of the same way. I used to overdo even weed, just everything, because for a long time I had the kind of the mentality of, all right, I need to get off the opiates. I need to get off the Xanax. I need to get off the meth. I need to get off all that stuff. But I'm just going to smoke weed. And it would go okay for a little bit. But what would happen to me is I would start overdoing it. And then I would get to a point where I just had that itch, like I'm already getting high, but I just want to take it to that. I just want to take it to that next level,
It
because
wasn't
I'm
enough. It
not.
wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But straight up,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
I've been like that my whole life, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely want to say something to the viewers, whoever's watching this, man. Guys, if I could do it, you could do it. If anybody's struggling, man, seriously, if you could obtain sobriety is attainable, man. You just got to put in the work, and you really got to want it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like these 110 days, Drew, have been nothing but a blessing. My 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 relationships improved, my finances improved, uh, my faith improved. Everything's like everything that addiction deprived me of. I'm slowly. It doesn't take time, but I'm slowly getting it back, and I'm just forever grateful, man. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not easy, but it's definitely attainable, man. And I hope I can inspire the next person not to go down this fucking road. Hell,
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you're on here sharing all that, and I kind of want to ask you about the meetings. Was that something that you had done before? Had you tried meetings before? I think you mentioned kind of sitting there and not sharing and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, Drew. Like I didn't know, Drew, that every rehab points you to AA. I literally just found that out recently. You know what I mean? I didn't know that because I always thought I thought like going to like expensive rehab in Florida. I thought that was the answer, bro. I would call them. I would write letters. They don't give a flying fuck. It's a business. You know what I mean? But I didn't know that every treatment lands you to AA. You know what I'm saying? And I I've I work a program. I have to. You can't do this without working a program. I have a sponsor. Before I would just go there, but now I'm taking this very seriously. You know what I mean? And you have to work a program. It's the only way you're gonna. Because if I stop going to meetings, if I stop staying connected, the obsession will eventually come back. And they say you pick up spiritually before you even. And I've been. It's like deja vu, Drew. I've been in this situation before, and why take that risk? This is why I gotta stay connected, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what are the recovery meetings like out there in New York?
Well, there's AA meetings like literally every hour all around everywhere, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens. There's actually NA, and I was actually in NA before, but just I still had the reservations and I relapsed. And but what's crazy, Drew? Like this last spree, run, whatever you want to call it, it was not fun, brother. It was weird, like I didn't have a good time. I was just getting paranoid, bro. You get to a point, Drew, where you're like, this is you can't take anymore. You know what I mean, bro? Like I would go, like how people look when they're on methamphetamine. They look fucking like zombies, bro. I would come home, bro. Like there was, I used to like to snort it, right? So that's a lot, and bro, like obviously there's no, you can't smoke cigarettes in my house because my mom had asthma, whatever. And I would beg her, please, dude, can I smoke one and just flip out? Because I wanted to avoid going downstairs looking like that. You know what I mean? In my neighborhood, bro. I would go down, Drew. Oh my god, I'm shaking, bro. Like I'm sweating. Everybody's looking at me like, oh, this is the neighborhood junkie, and I'm like sitting there trying to hold a cigarette like this, cracked out of my life. You know what I mean? It was really bad. Yeah, man. I took it to the extreme, like you said earlier. I lost my mind, but I thank God I'm still alive.
Yeah, man. What's it like? I want to ask you kind of what is it like having a sponsor and stuff? Has that been helpful for you?
it's been very helpful. You know what I mean? You have to call. I was actually, it's funny you said that, Drew. I was texting him every day, and then I guess like I don't want to say he got mad, but he's like, listen, I told you they won, and I kind of like it wasn't intentional. I forgot. I told you they won. To call me, and then he's like, oh, if you can't do that, you got to find yourself another sponsor. And then I thought about, he did tell me, but I guess my ADHD forgot it or whatever. But you have to call. I call him every single day if something's bothering me. Like for example, 2 weeks ago, I went into work for the first time in a year or two. There's this in Manhattan. There's a place called the Village. It's like nightlife central. It's all bars and this and that, and like literally 20 people drew asked to use the bathroom, and I put A and B together. I'm like, come on, there's no way all these people have bladder issues. There's obviously sniffing coke. You know what I mean? And people were doing shots in the store, and bro, for me in this part of my recovery, it was a very fragile environment. I have to be very vigilant. You know what I mean, brother? It's. So I called him right away. I didn't call him. I called him the next day. I'm like, hey, I explained to him the situation, and he's like, always have a backup plan. I guess he meant like the nearby meeting or whatever. But yeah, man, you have to be very vigilant, especially in early sobriety like I'm in.
Yeah, and I like that you bring that up too, because that's some stuff that I definitely went through it for sure. I remember in early sobriety, there were some times where, oh, it got hard, and I remember like I'd run into certain people, or kind of the same thing at a restaurant, club, whatever it is, like some type of nightlife where people are drinking and stuff, and it gets hard out there because my brain would start thinking, I'd go, oh, what are they doing? And then I would go, oh, there's drugs here. Like I could actually go grab some, right? And it would just, it's a slippery slope. So congrats on, what did that feel like to finally be kind of triggered a little bit or experiencing kind of, ooh, I'm
Oh,
feeling it right now. And then
well,
to actually call.
right. Well, Drew, to be honest with you, it wasn't so much that it was triggering. It was like I don't know. It was like a weird feeling. It's not that it was triggering. I felt it was like if you want to say overwhelming slash. I felt like I don't know. I didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like it could have ended really bad. Somebody offered me a cigarette. I'm like, hey, I don't think so. God for bro, the old Youssef would have been like, hey, I would have been the one to ask him who got that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was, bro. But yeah, man, it's like I have to be very like right now when they say people, places, things, bro, they don't say that for a reason. Like a couple months ago, I was watching. I don't know. The show Drugs Inc. Obviously, right? I was watching it.
Yeah.
Bro, there was a scene. Somebody was lighting up that glass pipe, and like the fucking junkie that I am, I actually like forget. I considered actually getting it. Not even entertainment. I actually considered it. Okay, nobody's home. Just I can go get it, come back, bro. That was I can't believe I actually. And the next day I told them in the outpatient, and like it's stuff like that. Now I know not to watch anything of that nature. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, right now it's like I don't leave my house after a certain time. You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna end well if I leave my house. You know what I mean? I'm gonna end up at a bar or drinking or do something. You know what I mean? From past experience, brother. And yeah, I'm taking this recovery thing very seriously, man. I have no reservations.
Yeah, that's something that's never actually come up on this podcast, but it's such a great topic because, and I can relate to it as well because even today, it's about 5.5 years. And if
Congratulations.
I watch, yeah, thank you, man. If I watch some of those shows, especially Drugs
Yeah.
Inc. Drugs Inc. was my show when I was getting high. It was Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. I watch it all the time today, but Drugs Inc. and
I
Intervention.
can't watch Breaking Bad, brother. I can't watch Breaking Bad.
That Drugs Inc. though, man, there's been some times where I've been watching it and, they make it look so nice. They got the dealers out there and they're all bagging everything up and they're getting high.
Okay.
And it used to just I'd get kind of uncomfortable, and I'd get antsy. And I'm really happy that you bring that up because that's the kind of stuff that sometimes can lead us down the wrong road when we're
Right.
early
Yeah.
on. And,
Absolutely.
it just,
Drew, I wanted to ask you, how did you get to this? How did you get to 5 years sober, brother? Honestly, how did you do it?
man, I just continued. The main thing that I've done is I just continued to stay plugged in. I continued to call other people that were sober when I didn't feel like calling anyone. I kept a routine. I tried to be very strict on kind of getting sleep. I tried to make sure I wasn't doing anything on the side, trying to make any like fast money or cheating or lying. I tried to just I showed up to work every day. I've tried to be just honest, I've been working out. I think that's helped a lot. Some type of exercise. I go to recovery meetings. I talk to people like you. I think the main thing that's helped me, man, is and the big thing too that's helped me is I literally take it day by day. Like I know a lot of people say, "Hey, just for today" and stuff like that. I really honestly look at it as what can I do today to just feel like a little bit better, to make my mental health just a little bit better. That's my big focus. I think and I think that's been helpful, man, because at the end of the day, like I'm the type of person where I have 5.5 years sober now, but I used to relapse all the time, I used to relapse all the time. I'd get sober for a little bit and I'd go right back out. So I also know that like I'm never healed, if that makes sense. Like fully healed, like to the point where I'm overconfident, Like we can heal, but I'm never like, I guess that's the wrong way to say it because we definitely heal in recovery, but I'm not immune to going out. Like just because I have 5.5 years doesn't mean that if I start doing some stupid shit for a few weeks or a few months, I could be in trouble, So I stay plugged in, man. I just keep
Of
going day
course,
by day.
you have to stay connected, man. Because if you don't stay connected, brother, you're gonna go astray, and eventually you're gonna do something you're gonna regret. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was crazy, Drew. Like this time, like I said, nobody forced me to get clean. Not my family. I just couldn't take it anymore. And prior previous attempts, Drew, was like I said, I was a chronic relapser. I always had reservations, but like I said, I just did it to get them off my back. You know what I mean? Like, straight up.
Oh,
And
I
I
did that. Yeah. Like people would sit me down, my family would sit me down, work would talk to me, girlfriends, relationships, every legal stuff, probation, court, everything, drug court. Everyone in my life was saying, you need to get sober or else. I mean, everyone, anyone I knew in my life that I ever talked to was telling me to get sober. And I would be like, okay, you know what? I got to get the heat off. Like I've been messing up. I've been getting caught too much by these people. I need to go into rehab and I need to get them off my back and then I can kind of do what I want to do. So when you were talking about that, just go into rehab to get the heat off, I think a lot of us do that. I think a lot of us do that and but you know what? It feels good when you reach a point. I remember the last rehab I went to. I think I went to like 7 total and they weren't nice places. I went to one okay place. The rest were all like free county programs.
oh my God, I've been to so many of those, Drew.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
last one,
they're not
I
fun,
just
bro. They're
knew.
not pleasant. They're not
Oh
pleasant.
no, well, it's funny because like when I tell people, hey, they're like, how many rehabs have you been to? I'm like, I think like 7. They're like, oh, you're so lucky you went to
Right?
nice places, and I'm like, dude, I was at Salvation Army for for 6 months. I was at like every kind of just like free program there is. But you know what? I'm grateful for those programs, man. I am because you have some amazing people that work at those programs. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely, man. You know what's crazy, Drew? Like, for example, when I went to like Samaritan Daytop in Queens, like it's literally I'm in Brooklyn, that's in Queens, so it's like a train ride away, like 45 an hour. I went there. Not even 45 minutes, an hour, not even 40 minutes. Drew, I was at the door. I had to get high. I had to get high. You know what I'm saying? I had suitcases and everything. That's also the reason why I went to South Carolina because I put myself in a predicament, Drew, where I have to stay there no matter what. You know what I mean? Like you can't walk back from South Carolina to New York. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I went there. People are like, "Why are you going to South Carolina?" I'm like, to get my life back, or at least try. You know what I'm saying? And when they were showing me like the tour of the place, and bro, it's like somebody who's been in New York your whole life that goes to South Carolina, it's like a culture shock. You know what I mean? I see fucking cows, I see animals, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's burnt out, bro. Like you don't see that in New York. But yeah, man, it's like the night I just got there, Drew, I wanted to leave. I'm like, bro, it's really hot in here. He's like, well, there's a fan right there. I'm like, fuck, this is gonna suck balls. And I stayed there for like 4 months, man, honestly. But I shouldn't talk about it. I shouldn't talk bad, Drew, about a place that saved my life. Oh, Chicago, if you're listening too, I love you guys so much, man. For real, man. It's I shouldn't talk bad about a place like that, man. But that's why I
Oh
left.
no, it's
Yeah,
all
man.
good. That's like I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that as well because and this is what you just said reminds me of. I'd be hurting, right? Like the meth stuff, staying up for days, weeks, whatever,
Oh my
and
god.
the relationship stuff, the parents, no one's trusting me. I can't hold a job anymore. I look like shit. I feel like shit. And then I would get to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to do something about this. And I would go to rehab, and exactly what you just said. This I'd be so motivated to get there, and I'd be there for the first night. I'd be laying in bed and I'm like, dude, I think I overreacted. Like I need to get the hell out of here. But it feels so good to when you finally stay, when you get to the point where you're like, look, if I leave here, it's just not going to get any better. Like that was the point that I finally got to where I'm like, I can leave this rehab. I can walk out. I could probably get high tonight because we always find a way when we're really determined, right? But then I would on the last rehab, I'm like, but you know what? Like, if I'm lucky, I'm just gonna end up back in rehab again. Like that's the best case, like you mentioned, like we could easily die out there. It's like sometimes you reach a point where you're like, maybe I'll just stay because this is not going away. It's not a problem that I can dodge. It's something that I need to treat. Can you relate to that?
Absolutely, man. You know what they say. It's definitely cunning, definitely powerful. Like 'cause sometimes I'm not gonna lie, Drew. I get these I guess these thoughts where I'm like, oh, I'll just do it one time. That's just one time, and that's it. I can get away with it, and then that'll be over. But that's still not the case, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that time could be my last time. I could actually die, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta keep in mind, Drew. We don't have the same hearts as we did when we were 20, brother. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of damage to my body. You know what I mean? So if I, God forbid, hypothetically speaking, I do a humongous bump of meth, whatever, I can die, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to die, man. You know what I'm saying? I already OD'd that day, so there's nothing left to do but die, man. I choose to live, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just so grateful, man. You know what's crazy, Drew? I still go to the program till this day. I'm not mandated. I can leave whenever I want, but why take that risk? You know what I'm saying? Why take the risk of something? If something changed my life for the better, why the fuck would I stop going? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to that place till they kick me out, man. Straight up, because it did change my life, man. Straight up, man.
And I think that's a good sign of when you're really ready this time is because I used to have so many people offer me stuff. Like I'd go to a rehab and they'd say, "Hey, look," they'd come up to me and they'd be like, "You're going to be here for 30 days or whatever." And then someone would pull me aside and they're like, "Hey, we've got great news. We just got your insurance just extended you for another month." And
Oh my God, yeah, yeah, I know what
and
you're
I'm
talking.
like, great news. Hell no. I'm going to deny that. I do not want to stay here another month. See, because I wasn't ready. But like what you're talking about right now, like you don't have to go over there, but you do
I
because
want to. I want to.
that's how you can. I feel like that's how we can really tell like something's different is we're being given opportunities to maybe go back to the old rehab or stay in an outpatient or whatever the case is. And we take advantage of it. We take advantage of because we really, really want it. Yusuf, we're getting kind of towards the end here. I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Yeah, absolutely,
Something,
absolutely.
something I always ask those that come on the podcast is, what is your advice to those that are struggling out there and are thinking about getting sober? I know you mentioned you have 110 days sober. Perfect person to ask. What's your advice to those? What do you think's helped you over the last 110 days?
Well, guys, if to anybody out there that's struggling, I've been worse. I've been 100 times worse than you guys. You guys have to want this. I can't force you to get sober. Like they say, you have to hit rock bottom, but you don't have to let it get to rock bottom, man. Like they say, every rock bottom has a trap door, or whatever. But you gotta. The same way you chase the drugs, you have to chase you gotta want this, and I really wanted it, you know what I mean? I couldn't take it. So either maybe you're not ready, maybe you have to keep going. I don't know, but I strongly suggest you guys reach out and get help, man. If I could do it, anybody could do it, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, and thank you for giving it as well. And
No problem, no problem.
there was another thing I wanted to touch on real quick. I was thinking about it as I was asking that other question. You mentioned the thought sometimes of, hey, maybe I can just get high one time. Just one, and it's so interesting because I think all of us deal with that at some point
Yeah.
once we get sober. I think we all do. I think that's I think it looks different for each person. Like, one person may think like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna do this drug once," or another person's telling themselves, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get high on this other drug. I could do that because I don't have a problem with that one." But I like what you kind of said after it, where you're like, "Look, I just remember what it's like." Like when my head tells me, "Let's get high once," I know it's not the truth. I know it's not. Because anytime I've gotten high, it always leads to a ton of other stuff, and I just want to say something that helped me with that is I try and remember how I felt like the day before I got sober. I try and
I
just,
was just about to say that. I was literally just about to say that. You gotta remember the days that you prayed to be exactly where the fuck you are right now, brother. Straight up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I actually saw that on a social media post, but it's the truth, man. There was days where I would be like, God, please, fix me. You know what I mean? And here I am. Thank God I'm fixed. But you got to remember the pain. You have to. It's the only way. Yeah, it hurts, but it's you have to recover, man. And it's not easy, but it's definitely rewarding, man. I'm just grateful for recovery.
Yeah, man. Youssef, brother, thank you for taking the time to come on here. I just want to say
Thank you for having
congrats
me, dude.
on
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much, man. It was an honor. It was an honor to be here,
it.
man.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. We'll finish off with this. What is a goal of yours over the next few months when it comes to sobriety? Something you're going to be working on, some way that you're going to kind of sharpen your mental health or improve some of your relationships, or maybe make some amends or whatever. What is a goal of yours when it comes to recovery over the next 6 months?
Well, believe it or not, Drew, I'm actually going for my case act to be a substance abuse counselor. I start school next month. Actually, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Oh, congrats, man. That'll be great.
Definitely, man. You know what I'm saying? If I could stop people from going down the road to hell, why not, man? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very rewarding. I look forward to it. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, keep in touch. Keep it. Let me know how all that goes, man. We'll be in touch. Thank you,
Thank,
Youssef.
thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate you, man. See you later.
To the two of you that just watched the entire episode, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what's going on with you. If you want to come on the show, tell your story like Youssef just did. Email me, soberfixpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget, we got a TikTok at The Sober Fix. We've got an Instagram at The Sober Fix Podcast. And I'll put any resources I have, sober coaching with Josh Wool, I'll put that in the episode details. Until next time, guys, have a good week.